Alrighty, 2007 Saab 9.5. This is an Aero model. The oil change. I'm going to start with opening up the oil fill and the dipstick there to let it drain out faster. Next we're going to rack up the car, get it up in the air, and then loosen the drain plug and the oil filter. Alrighty, now that we have the vehicle in the air safely, we are going to take off the drain plug. This vehicle does have a couple oil leaks as it is pretty old and high mileage, but overall still looks pretty good. It's going to be a 13mm bolt. Alrighty, got that out and draining. While that's draining, we can start with the oil filter. And for the oil filters, I like using this claw spring piece. Really easy to take off a lot of different oil filters. Got this one, I think, at Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. We'll put that on there, like so, and just twist, and then you're good to take it off with your hand. Alright, we got the filter off that is draining. Here's our new filter. I usually buy these off of Rock Auto for in bulk, pretty cheap. It's a good filter as well. Before we put it on, we want to make sure that we put oil around the seal. That helps to keep a nice seal to the housing and to help take off the oil filter later. So we're going to do that, and then we'll spin it on once all the oil is done draining. Alright, that filter's on there. Cleaned up the surrounding area. For the drain plug, we do need to replace the washer. This is a new one. And then good to thread it on and tighten it on. I think the torque is 18 foot-pounds. If the bolt head is stripped or starting to round off, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to replace that drain plug as well. Always tighten it by hand. Already got the drain plug on there, torque down. Start it by hand and then tighten it to the correct torque. Clean up the surrounding areas to prevent any possible oil drippage. Most likely this car is already leaking though, so not that it makes that big of a difference. And then for disposing, always want to dispose of everything properly, the oil and the filters. You can always go to the local parts store and usually they can get rid of that stuff for you. Then we gotta bring the car down and fill it up. Alrighty, next is filling the oil. I'm using the full synthetic 01 040. Sometimes I use 540 during the summertime as the engine does seem to run better. But it is winter, so we're gonna run that 040. This is kind of what I use as my funnel. It's homemade, works fine, no problem there. The capacity for an oil change is 4.3 quarts. Sometimes you need to go to about 4.5, depending upon how much came out. But fill it up to that amount, and then we'll be good to go with oil there. Alrighty, once we finish the oil change, if you do have a maintenance reset light on, or a time for maintenance light on, I do not have that on currently, but it will show up after doing the check. To clear that, what we want to do is put our foot on the brake, go back to lock, on, wait for it to pop up, and then you're going to hold the clear button until service comes up. This is not going to say service. Keep holding until it goes away, and then you can let go, and then it should be reset. And finally, probably the most important part here is having a maintenance schedule for your vehicle. I do oil changes every 3,500 miles, so that for me is going to be at 211,992 miles. Oil changes are kind of cheap insurance, so it's something easy to do to keep your vehicle running nice and healthy.